The transport ship landed softly on the metal floor of Station Harmony 7. The doors opened with a quiet hiss, and Emma Park stepped out into her new life. She was 15 years old, with dark hair tied back in a simple ponytail and brown eyes that seemed too calm for someone so young. She carried only a small bag over her shoulder. She looked around at the massive space station that would be her home for the next year. Everything was strange and new. The walls curved in ways that made no sense to human eyes. The lights came from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And the air smelled clean but somehow wrong, like it had been made by machines that did not understand what real air should smell like. Emma walked slowly through the arrival hall. All around her, alien students moved in groups. Some had bodies made of what looked like living crystal. They were tall and beautiful, and light passed through them in rainbow colors. These were the Valari, she remembered from her studies. Others had forearms and skin that changed color with their moods. These were the Mithrani. There were dozens of other species too, each one stranger than the last. None of them looked at Emma with kindness. Some looked at her with curiosity, like she was a small animal they had never seen before. Others looked at her with something close to disgust. A few did not look at her at all, as if she was not worth noticing. Emma did not react to any of this. She simply kept walking, following the signs to the student housing area. The Galactic Academy was the most famous school in all the known worlds. Students came here from 1,000 different planets to learn together. The idea was beautiful, all species living and studying side by side, building friendship and understanding across the stars. The reality was different. Emma had read the reports. She knew that some species were treated better than others. She knew that humans were near the bottom of the social ladder. Earth was classified as a Class 12 Deathworld, which meant it was considered one of the most dangerous and hostile planets capable of producing intelligent life. But most aliens thought this classification was a mistake or an exaggeration. How could such small, soft, clawless creatures come from a truly dangerous world? Emma found her room on the 7th level of the student housing block. The door opened automatically when she touched the panel beside it. Inside, she found a simple space with 2 beds, 2 desks, and a window that showed the stars outside. A girl was already sitting on one of the beds. She was human too, with short black hair and sharp eyes that held a tired kind of wisdom. She looked up when Emma entered. "You must be my new roommate," the girl said. She did not smile, but her voice was not unfriendly. "I am Kira Lee. I have been here for 2 years already." Emma bowed her head slightly in greeting. "I am Emma Park. Thank you for having me." Kira studied her for a long moment. "You seem calm." Most new humans are scared when they first arrive. The aliens here can be difficult. "I have heard stories," Emma said. She set her bag down on the empty bed and sat beside it. "But I believe in giving everyone a chance." Kira laughed, but there was no joy in the sound. "That is a nice thought. Hold on to it for as long as you can." She stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the stars. "Let me tell you how things work here. The Valari think they are better than everyone else because their bodies are beautiful and their planet is old. The Mithrani think they are smarter than everyone else because they have 4 arms and can do many things at once. And everyone thinks humans are weak because we have no claws, no armor, no poison, nothing. We have other things," Emma said quietly. "Like what?" Kira asked, turning to look at her. Emma was silent for a moment. Something moved behind her eyes, something dark and deep. But it was gone so quickly that Kira thought she might have imagined it. "Like patience," Emma finally said, "and the ability to adapt." That night, Emma lay in her bed and listened to the sounds of the space station. Metal creaked and groaned as it expanded and contracted with the temperature changes. Distant engines hummed. Somewhere far away, Alien voices spoke in languages she did not understand. She thought about home, about Earth, about the green forests and blue oceans and all the dangerous things that lived there. She thought about what it meant to grow up on a world where everything wanted to kill you, where the weather could change in minutes and destroy entire cities, where tiny invisible creatures could enter your body and make you sick, where the ground itself could shake and split open without warning. Humans did not survive such a world by being strong or fast or tough. They survived by being smart, by working together, by never giving up, no matter how bad things got. And deep inside every human, buried under layers of civilization and manners and kindness, there was something else, something ancient, something that remembered what it was like to hunt and be hunted in a world without mercy. Emma closed her eyes and pushed those thoughts away. She was here to learn. She was here to make friends. She was here to show the galaxy that humans could be good and peaceful and kind. But as she drifted off to sleep, a small part of her whispered, "And if they try to hurt me, I will show them what a Deathworld predator can really do." The next morning, Emma reported to the main administration building to complete her registration. The building was enormous, with ceilings so high she could barely see them. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved through the halls, talking and laughing and arguing in 100 different languages. She found the registration office and waited in line. When her turn came, she stepped up to the desk and found herself facing an insectoid alien with large compound eyes and clicking mandibles. A small sign on the desk said, "Administrator Thelvax." Thelvax looked at her documents for a long time. His eyes moved in ways that made Emma uncomfortable. Finally he spoke, his voice a strange mixture of clicks and hisses that her translator device turned into words she could understand. "Human," he said. "From Earth, Class 12 Deathworld." He paused. "Your biometric readings are unusual." "Unusual how?" Emma asked politely. Thelvax clicked his mandibles together. "Your adrenaline reserves are higher than normal for your species. Your neural response times are faster. Your psychological profile contains a warning note." Emma kept her face calm and blank. "I am just a normal student," she said. "I am here to learn." Thelvax stared at her for a long moment. Then he stamped her documents and handed them back. "Welcome to the Galactic Academy," he said. But his voice held no welcome, only warning. Emma smiled softly, took her documents, and walked away. Behind her, Thelvax watched her go. He had processed thousands of students over the years. He knew how to read people, even alien people. And something about that small human girl made him very, very nervous. 3 weeks passed at the Galactic Academy, and Emma Park became invisible. She went to her classes. She did her homework. She ate her meals alone in the corner of the cafeteria. She spoke only when spoken to, and even then, she used as few words as possible. The other students forgot she existed. To them, she was just another weak human, not worth thinking about. The Valari students with their crystal bodies walked past her like she was furniture. The Metherini students with their 4 arms talked over her head like she was not there. Even the teachers seemed to look through her instead of at her dot. Only Kira noticed how Emma watched everything. Her roommate sat in class with her hands folded and her eyes down, but those eyes missed nothing. She saw how the different species treated each other. She saw the small cruelties and the large ones. She learned the social rules that no one wrote down, but everyone followed. "You are studying them," Kira said one night in their room, "like a scientist studies animals." Emma looked up from her homework. "I am just trying to understand," she said. "Understanding helps you survive." Kira shook her head. "You are strange, Emma Park, even for a human." Emma only smiled. The biodome field trip came on the 4th week. Professor Kalmari, an elderly Mithrani with gray-blue skin and kind eyes, led the class through the massive dome that held a living ecosystem from a Class 7 world. The dome was filled with alien plants that glowed in soft colors and small creatures that moved through the undergrowth. This ecosystem is considered moderately dangerous. Professor Kalmari explained as the students walked along the safe path. The predators here are fast and clever, but they are not hostile to species they do not recognize as food. As long as you stay on the path and do not make sudden movements, you will be perfectly safe. Emma walked at the back of the group, alone as always. She looked at the alien plants and animals with quiet interest. Some of them were beautiful. Some of them were strange. None of them scared her. She had seen worse things in the forest near her home on Earth. Rin, the son of a wealthy Velari noble, walked near the front of the group. He was tall even for his species, with a body that sparkled like diamonds in the artificial sunlight. He was used to being the most important person in any room. He was used to getting whatever he wanted, and right now, he wanted entertainment. "I am bored," he said loudly to his friends. "This ecosystem is supposed to be dangerous, but I see nothing interesting." One of his friends, a Velari girl named Thesa, laughed. "Maybe we should make it more interesting." Rin's crystal face formed something like a smile. His eyes found Emma at the back of the group. "I have an idea," he said while Professor Kalmari was explaining something about the local plant life. Rin slipped away from the path. He moved quickly to a holding cage near the edge of the dome where specimens were kept for study. Inside one of the cages was a shade stalker, a predator from this very ecosystem. It was about the size of a large dog, with black fur that seemed to absorb light and teeth that could cut through metal. Rin opened the cage. The shade stalker burst out and ran into the undergrowth. Then Rin walked back to the group and waited. It did not take long. The shade stalker was hungry and confused. It moved through the plants, looking for something to kill. Its eyes, designed to see in complete darkness, spotted the group of students. It saw the large ones and knew they might fight back. Then it saw the small one at the back of the group. The one that looked soft and weak. The one that looked like easy prey. The shade stalker attacked. It burst from the undergrowth with no warning, moving faster than most eyes could follow. Students screamed and ran in all directions. Professor Kalmari shouted for everyone to stay calm, but no one listened. Emma did not run. She stood perfectly still as the shade stalker charged toward her. Her eyes tracked its movement. Her body relaxed instead of tensing up. And deep inside her, something ancient began to wake up. The shade stalker was 3 meters away. Then 2, then 1. It leaped at her throat, claws extended, teeth ready to bite. Emma moved. She did not move like someone who had learned to fight. She moved like something that had been born to hunt. Her body twisted to the side, and the shade stalker flew past her. Before it could land and turn, she was already behind it. Her hand came down on the back of its neck, hitting a nerve cluster with perfect precision. The shade stalker stumbled. It tried to turn, to attack again, but Emma was faster. She grabbed its throat from behind and squeezed. Not hard enough to kill, just hard enough to cut off blood to its brain. The creature struggled for a few seconds. Then it went limp. Emma let it fall to the ground. It was not dead, only unconscious. It would wake up in a few minutes with a headache, but no permanent damage. The entire biodome had gone silent. Every student, every teacher, even the animals in the undergrowth seemed to have stopped moving. Everyone was staring at Emma. She stood over the fallen predator, breathing slowly and steadily. Her hands were trembling, but not from fear. From something else. From the effort of holding back. Professor Kalmari walked toward her slowly, his forearms hanging limp at his sides. His color-changing skin had gone pale white, which meant shock. "How?" he whispered. How did you do that? Emma looked at him. For just a moment, her eyes were different. Older, harder, more dangerous than any shade stalker could ever be. On my world, she said quietly, things like this are what we feed to our pets. Then the moment passed, and she was just a quiet schoolgirl again. She looked down at her trembling hands and clenched them into fists. I am sorry, she said. I did not mean to cause trouble. Rin was staring at her with wide crystal eyes. This was not what he had expected. He had expected her to scream, to run, to get hurt or maybe killed, and then he would have a funny story to tell his friends about the weak little human. Instead, he had just watched that weak little human take down Class 7 Predator with her bare hands in less than 5 seconds. Visa grabbed his arm. Rin, she whispered, what did we just see? Rin did not answer. He could not find words. Professor Kalmari looked at Emma for a long time. Then he looked at the unconscious Shadestalker. Then he looked back at Emma. The reports about Deathworlds, he said slowly. The Class 12 classification. I always thought it was exaggerated. Political reasons maybe. Or measurement errors. Emma said nothing. But it is not exaggerated, is it? The professor continued. His voice was soft with something between fear and wonder. Humans really do come from a world that's dangerous. Emma finally met his eyes. My world has storms that can destroy cities in minutes, she said. We have earthquakes that kill thousands. We have diseases so small you cannot see them that have killed millions. We have predators in our oceans that are older than most of your civilizations. She paused. And we survived. We did not just survive. We conquered. We became the apex predator of a world that wanted us dead from the moment we were born. She looked down at the Shadestalker again. This creature is dangerous, she said. But compared to what I grew up with, it is nothing. No one spoke as Emma walked back to the group. No one stopped her. No one even moved, but everyone watched her. And for the first time since she arrived at the Galactic Academy, they did not see a weak, soft, harmless human. They saw something else entirely. That night, Kira found Emma sitting by the window in their room, looking out at the stars. Her roommate sat down beside her and waited in silence. You hid it well, Kira finally said. The thing inside you. Emma did not look away from the stars. I have been hiding it my whole life. All humans do. It is how we survive in civilization. We push it down. We lock it away. We pretend it does not exist. What happens if you stop pretending? Emma was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. Then people get hurt. After the incident in the biodome, everything changed for Emma Park. The quiet invisibility she had enjoyed was gone forever. Now everyone knew her name. Everyone watched her when she walked through the halls. Everyone whispered about what she had done. Some students avoided her completely. They walked on the other side of the corridor when they saw her coming. They changed seats in class so they would not be near her. They looked at her with fear in their eyes. Others watched her with new interest. A few even tried to talk to her, asking questions about Earth and humans and how she had moved so fast. Emma answered their questions politely but briefly. She did not want attention. She wanted to go back to being invisible. But Rin wanted something else. He wanted revenge. The Valari noble's son had been humiliated in front of the entire class. He had tried to make Emma look weak, and instead, she had made him look like a fool. Every time he walked through the academy, he could feel people looking at him and whispering, laughing at him behind his back. His family was one of the most powerful in the Valari Empire. His ancestors had conquered star systems. His father owned entire planets. And now everyone was talking about how a tiny human girl had shown him up that he could not let that stand. Rin gathered his most loyal friends in his private quarters. There were 6 Valari, all from wealthy families who owed favors to his clan. There were also 2 Mithrani, who worked for his family as servants and bodyguards. "We are going to teach that human a lesson," Rin said. His crystal body glowed with barely controlled anger. "A lesson she will never forget. The professors will know it was us," one of his friends said nervously. "After what happened in the biodome, they will be watching." "Then we make sure there are no witnesses," Rin replied. "And no evidence. It will just be a tragic accident. A weak little human who wandered into the wrong part of the station and got hurt." The plan was simple. They would wait for Emma to be alone, corner her somewhere without cameras, and show her what real power looked like. The Valari could store energy in their crystal bodies and release it as blasts of heat and light. 8 of them together could generate enough power to melt through steel walls. What chance would one soft human have against that? They waited for 3 days, watching Emma's movements and learning her schedule. She always walked back to her room alone after her evening study period. The path took her through the lower maintenance corridors, where the lights were dim and the security cameras were old and broken. On the 4th night, they were ready. Emma walked through the corridor, her footsteps echoing softly on the metal floor. She was thinking about her homework and the message she had received from her family back on Earth. She did not notice the shadows moving behind her. She did not notice until it was too late. Rin stepped out in front of her, blocking the path. His crystal body glowed with stored energy, bright enough to hurt human eyes. Behind Emma, his friends spread out to cut off any escape. "Hello, human," Rin said. His voice was cold and cruel. "I think we need to have a talk." Emma stopped walking. She looked at Rin, then at the others surrounding her. Her face showed no fear, only calm acceptance. "I do not want to fight," she said quietly. "Please let me pass." Rin laughed. "You do not want to fight? That is good, because this is not going to be a fight. This is going to be a lesson." He raised his hand, and energy crackled between his crystal fingers. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone. You made me look weak. Now I am going to show you what real strength looks like." "Rin, please," Emma said. "You do not understand what you are doing." "I understand perfectly. I am putting you in your place, human, where all your kind belong. At the bottom." Emma closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them again, there was something different in her expression. Something sad. "I really did not want this," she whispered. Before anyone could react, footsteps echoed from behind the group. Everyone turned to see Kira Lee running toward them. "Emma!" Kira shouted. "I saw them following you." I called for help, but she never finished her sentence. Thesa, the Valari girl, moved faster than thought and struck Kira across the face. The blow was powerful enough to lift Kira off her feet and throw her into the wall. She hit the metal surface with a terrible sound and crumpled to the ground. Blood began to pool beneath her head. For a moment, everything was silent. Emma stared at her friend lying motionless on the floor. Kira, who had been kind to her from the first day. Kira, who had warned her about the dangers of this place. Kira, who was the closest thing Emma had to family on this station. Something inside Emma broke. No, not broke. Woke up. The thing that all humans carried inside them. The thing that 3 million years of evolution had created. The thing that had made humanity the master of a world that tried to kill them every single day. It opened its eyes. The change was subtle at first. Emma's posture shifted, becoming looser and more balanced. Her breathing slowed down until her chest barely moved at all. Her hands uncurled from fists, fingers relaxing into something that looked natural, but was actually a position that allowed for maximum speed and precision. But the biggest change was in her eyes. The soft, quiet, careful eyes of Emma Park were gone. In their place were the eyes of something old, something patient, something that had hunted and killed since before civilization existed. The eyes of a predator. "You heard her," Emma said. Her voice was different now, lower, calmer, more dangerous than any shout or scream. Rin felt something he had never felt before in his life. Fear. Real fear. The kind of fear that came from deep in the brain, from the parts that remembered what it was like to be prey. But he was too proud to show it. "So what if I did?" he said, forcing his voice to sound confident. "She should not have interfered. Just like you should not have interfered in the biodome." Emma did not respond. She just looked at him with those ancient eyes. "I am going to hurt you now," Rin said. "And then I am going to hurt your friend some more. And there is nothing you can do to stop me." He raised his hand to fire a blast of energy at Emma's face. Emma smiled. It was not a nice smile. "There are 73 ways I can kill you before that energy leaves your hand," she said softly. "I am going to use none of them. Because unlike you, I do not kill for fun." She paused. "But I am going to make sure you never hurt anyone again." And then she moved on to the aliens watching. It looked like Emma simply disappeared from one spot and appeared in another. Their eyes could not track her movement. Their brains could not process what was happening. One moment she was standing in front of Rin. The next moment she was behind him. And he was falling to the ground with his arm bent at an angle that crystal bodies were not supposed to bend. Before anyone could react, Emma moved again. And again. And again. She was everywhere and nowhere at once. She was a ghost. A demon. A force of nature that could not be stopped or even slowed down. The corridor filled with the sounds of crystal cracking and aliens screaming. In less than a minute, it was over. 8 bodies lay on the floor. All of them alive, but none of them able to move. Emma stood in the middle of them, breathing slowly, her hands steady at her sides. She had not killed any of them, but she had made sure they would remember this night for the rest of their lives. She walked over to Kira and knelt beside her. Her friend was still breathing. The wound on her head looked bad, but not deadly. Emma gently brushed the hair away from Kira's face. "It is okay," she whispered. "I am here. You are safe now." Behind her, Rin groaned in pain. His arm was shattered. His pride was destroyed. And deep in his crystal heart, he finally understood something that his ancestors had never learned. Humans were not weak. Humans were the most dangerous thing in the entire galaxy. And he had just made one very, very angry. The security team arrived 7 minutes after the fight ended. They found Emma sitting on the floor of the corridor with Kira's head in her lap. Around them lay 8 unconscious aliens, their bodies twisted and broken in ways that made the security officers feel sick, but none of them were dead. Every single one of them was still breathing. What happened here? The lead officer demanded. He was a large Mithrani with battle scars on his forearms and a voice that was used to giving orders. Emma looked up at him with calm, empty eyes. "They attacked my friend," she said simply. "I stopped them." The officer looked at the bodies on the floor. He looked at the small human girl sitting in the middle of them. He looked back at the bodies. "You did this?" he asked. His voice had lost some of its authority. "By yourself?" "Yes." The officer was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke into his communication device, calling for medical teams to come and collect the wounded. They took Kira to the medical center first. Her injuries were serious, but not life-threatening. The doctor said she would make a full recovery with rest and proper treatment. They took Rin and his friends to a different part of the medical center. Their injuries were much worse. Broken bones, shattered joints, damaged nerve clusters that would take months to heal. The doctors had never seen anything like it. Every injury was precise, calculated, designed to cause maximum pain and disability without killing Dawn. It was the work of an expert, a professional, someone who knew exactly how to hurt people without ending their lives. The security footage from that corridor had been damaged years ago and never repaired. There was no video of what had happened. But word spread anyway, as it always does. By morning, everyone on Station Harmony 7 knew that a human girl had defeated 8 armed attackers in less than a minute. The story grew with each telling. Some said she had moved faster than light. Others said she had called upon dark powers from her Deathworld. A few claimed she was not really human at all, but some kind of monster wearing human skin. Emma heard all the rumors. She did not correct any of them. Administrator Thelvax called her to his office the next afternoon. He sat behind his large desk with his compound eyes fixed on her and his mandibles clicking nervously. "Miss Park," he said, "I have a problem. 8 students are in the medical center with severe injuries. All of them claim that you attacked them without reason." Emma sat quietly with her hands folded in her lap. "That is not what happened. I know." Thelvax pulled up a holographic display showing multiple files. "We found evidence that Rin and his friends had been planning this attack for days. We also found the real security footage from a hidden camera that even I did not know about. Someone has been watching everything that happens in those corridors." He paused. "Would you like to know what the footage shows?" "I know what it shows." Thelvax clicked his mandibles again. "It shows something impossible. It shows a 15-year-old human girl moving faster than my best security officers can move. It shows her taking down 8 opponents, including 6 Volari who were fully charged with combat energy in 47 seconds. It shows her using fighting techniques that I have never seen before, hitting weak points that should not exist on alien bodies." He leaned forward. "How did you know where to hit them? You have never studied Volari or Mithrani anatomy. It is not taught in any class at this academy." Emma was silent for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was soft. "I watched them. For 3 weeks, I watched how they moved, how they held themselves, where their bodies bent and where they did not bend. I saw the places where crystal was thinner. I saw the places where Mithrani's skin changed color when they were in pain." She paused. "My brain did the rest without me asking it to." "Your brain just figured out alien anatomy by watching them walk?" "Yes." Thelvax stared at her. "That should not be possible." "On my world," Emma said, "our ancestors survived by learning to read other creatures. We had to know which animals were dangerous and which were safe. We had to know where to strike to kill them quickly. We had to know how to track them for miles through forests and across plains. That knowledge is in our blood. It is part of what we are." She looked directly into his compound eyes. "Every human has this ability. Most of us never use it because we live in peaceful civilizations where it is not needed. But it is always there, waiting. And when we are threatened, it comes out." Thelvax was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke again. "The footage has been shared with the Galactic Council. They want to meet you." Emma nodded slowly. "I expected they would. They are scared of you, Miss Park. They are scared of all humans now. They do not need to be scared. We do not want to hurt anyone. We just want to live in peace." "Then, why did you hurt those students?" Emma's eyes changed for just a moment. Something dark and old moved behind them, like a shadow passing across the sun. "Because they hurt my friend. Because they were going to hurt me. Because I gave them every chance to walk away, and they chose violence." Her voice dropped lower. "On my world, we have a saying. Do not start fights, but always finish them." Thelvax felt a chill run through his exoskeleton. He had been an administrator for over 30 years. He had met thousands of different species. He had seen warriors and killers and monsters of every kind, but he had never seen anything quite like the thing that lived behind Emma Park's eyes. "The council meeting is in 3 days," he said. "Until then, you are not under arrest, but you are asked to remain in your quarters. For your own safety, I understand." Emma stood up to leave. Then she paused at the door. "Administrator Thelvax?" "Yes, Rin and his friends." "What will happen to them?" Thelvax made a sound that might have been a sigh. "Their families are very powerful. They will probably face minor punishment and then be transferred to other schools. They will not come near you again." Emma nodded. "Good, because if they do, I will not be so gentle next time." She left without waiting for a response. That night, Emma sat by Kira's bed in the medical center. Her friend was awake now, her head wrapped in bandages, but her eyes clear and alert. "You destroyed them," Kira said. Her voice was weak but impressed. "I heard the nurses talking. They said you broke every bone in Rin's arm in 12 different places." 13, Emma corrected quietly. "I missed one." Kira laughed, then winced in pain. "You are terrifying, Emma Park. You know that, right?" Emma looked at her hands. They looked so normal, so human, so harmless. "I did not want to be," she said. "I came here to prove that humans could be peaceful, that we could fit in with the rest of the galaxy without violence. And now?" Emma was quiet for a long moment. Outside the window, the stars burned cold and distant in the endless dark of space. "Now, I think maybe peace is not about hiding what you are. Maybe peace is about showing the truth and hoping others accept it." She looked at Kira with tired eyes. "We are predators, Kira, all of us. Every human who has ever lived carries the blood of hunters and killers. We cannot change that. We can only choose what we do with it. What will you do with it?" Emma thought about the question. She thought about her family back on Earth. She thought about all the other humans scattered across the galaxy, trying to find their place among the stars. She thought about all the aliens who looked at humanity and saw only weakness. "I will show them the truth," she finally said. "I will show them what we really are. And then I will show them that being dangerous does not mean being evil. That having the power to destroy does not mean you have to use it." She took Kira's hand and squeezed it gently. "I will show them that the most dangerous predator in the galaxy can also be the best friend they ever had, if they are willing to give us a chance." Kira smiled despite her pain. "That sounds like a good plan." "I hope so," Emma said. "Because in 3 days, I have to convince the entire Galactic Council." She looked out at the stars again. "And if I fail, humanity might never be welcome among them." The Galactic Council chamber was the largest room Emma had ever seen. It was shaped like a massive bowl, with thousands of seats rising up on all sides around a central platform. Representatives from every known species in the galaxy filled those seats, their alien eyes all focused on the small human girl standing alone in the center. Emma wore simple clothes. No uniform, no special outfit, just the plain shirt and pants she had brought from Earth. She stood with her hands at her sides and her head held high, looking out at the assembled representatives without fear. The High Chancellor, an ancient Valari whose crystal body had turned gray with age, spoke first. His voice echoed through the chamber, amplified by hidden speakers. "Emma, Park of Earth, you have been brought before this Council to answer for your actions aboard station. Harmony 7, you are accused of attacking and injuring 8 students without proper cause. How do you respond?" Emma's voice was calm and clear. "I respond that the accusation is false. I did not attack anyone. I defended myself and my friend against an assault that was planned and carried out by those 8 students. I have evidence to support this." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The High Chancellor raised his hand for silence. We have seen the evidence. We have reviewed the footage. We know that you were indeed the victim of an attack." He paused. "But that is not why you are truly here." Emma waited. "You are here because in 47 seconds, you defeated 8 armed opponents using nothing but your bare hands. You are here because you demonstrated combat abilities that should not exist in a species as young and primitive as humanity. You are here because you have made every species in this galaxy ask the same question." He leaned forward, his ancient eyes locked on her face. "What are you?" The chamber was completely silent. Thousands of beings held their breath, waiting for her answer. Emma thought about lying. She thought about making excuses, about explaining away what she had done, about making herself seem less dangerous than she was. But she remembered what she had told Kira. Peace was not about hiding. Peace was about truth. "I am human," she said simply. Nothing more. Nothing less. "But humans are supposed to be weak," someone shouted from the upper seats. "You have no natural weapons. No armor, no venom. How can you fight like that?" Emma turned to face the speaker, a young Mithrani with bright orange skin. "You think weapons and armor make a species dangerous?" She shook her head. "You do not understand what danger really is." She began to walk slowly around the platform, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. "My world is called Earth. It is classified as a Class 12 Deathworld, which means it is one of the most hostile environments capable of producing intelligent life. But that classification does not even begin to describe what we survived." She paused. "Our planet has earthquakes that can level cities in minutes. We have volcanoes that can block out the sun and freeze entire continents. We have hurricanes and typhoons that destroy everything in their path. Our oceans contain creatures so large and so deadly that your ships would not survive an encounter with them." The representatives were listening in horrified fascination. "And that is just our planet," Emma continued. "The real danger was each other. For millions of years, humans competed against every other species on Earth for survival. We fought against predators that were faster than us, stronger than us, more deadly than us in every way. And we won. We won not because we were bigger or stronger, but because we never gave up. Because we learned. Because we adapted. Because we worked together." She stopped in the center of the platform again. "Every human alive today is descended from survivors. Our DNA carries 3 million years of evolution in one of the most hostile environments in the galaxy. We do not have claws because we did not need them. We made tools instead. We do not have armor because we did not need it. We learned to dodge and run and hide. We do not have venom because we did not need it. We learned to kill with our hands, with sticks, with rocks, with anything we could find." Her voice dropped lower. "And we learned to do something else. Something that most species never learn. We learned to control ourselves. We learned to suppress our instincts. We learned to live in peace with each other, even though every single one of us carries the soul of a killer inside them." The High Chancellor spoke again. "So you are saying that all humans are as dangerous as you?" "More dangerous," Emma said. "I am young. I have had little training. What you saw in that corridor was just the basic survival instinct that every human is born with. Our soldiers, our fighters, our warriors, they are far more deadly than I could ever be." Fear rippled through the chamber. Representatives whispered to each other in urgent voices. Some looked like they wanted to call for human extermination right then and there. But the High Chancellor raised his hand again. "You said that humans learn to control yourselves, to live in peace. Why should we believe that?" Emma smiled. It was a sad smile, but a genuine one. "Because we have had nuclear weapons for over 100 years. Weapons that could destroy our entire planet in hours. Weapons that we created ourselves." She let that sink in. And we have never used them in war since the first time we learned how terrible they were. Not once. Even during our worst conflicts, we held back. Because we knew that some lines should never be crossed. She looked around the chamber. That is what humans are. We are dangerous. More dangerous than you ever imagined. But we are also capable of restraint, of compassion, of love. We did not become the dominant species on our world by killing everything that moved. We became dominant by learning when to fight and when to make friends. She took a deep breath. We are not here to conquer you. We are here because we looked up at the stars our whole lives and dreamed of meeting others like us. We are here because we want to learn and grow and share what we have learned. We are here because despite everything our world tried to do to us, we still believe in hope. Her voice grew stronger. You can fear us if you want. You can try to destroy us if you think you can. But I promise you this. If you give us a chance, if you treat us as friends instead of threats, you will never find more loyal allies anywhere in the galaxy. We will fight for you. We will die for you. We will stand beside you against any enemy, no matter how powerful. She held out her hands, palms up, showing them empty. We are the children of a Deathworld. We have survived things you cannot imagine. And now we are offering to share that strength with you. All we ask is that you accept us for what we are. The chamber was silent for a long moment. Emma stood there, small and alone, waiting for the judgment that would decide humanity's future. Then the High Chancellor spoke. I have lived for 400 years. I have seen species rise and fall. I have watched empires crumble and new civilizations be born. And in all that time, I have never seen anything quite like humanity. He stood slowly, his ancient body creaking. You terrify me, Emma Park. Your species terrifies me. But I have also learned that the things we fear are often the things that can help us most. He looked around at the assembled representatives. I call for a vote. Should humanity be granted full galactic citizenship? The voting took less than a minute. The result was nearly unanimous. Humanity is hereby granted full citizenship in the galactic community, the High Chancellor announced. With a special designation, Protected Species, Class Omega. Do not provoke. Emma bowed her head. Thank you. Do not thank us, the High Chancellor said. Just keep your promise. Be the friends you claim to be. Because we will be watching. We understand. Emma looked up at him with clear, honest eyes. And I promise you, you will not regret this decision. She walked out of the chamber with thousands of eyes following her. Some of those eyes were still afraid. Some were suspicious. But many were curious, and a few were even hopeful. That was enough. It was a beginning dot when Emma returned to Station Harmony 7. Kira was waiting for her at the transport dock. Her friend was out of the medical center now, with only a small bandage on her head to show what had happened. How did it go? Kira asked. Emma smiled. We are officially citizens of the galaxy. Kira laughed and hugged her. I knew you could do it. They walked back to the academy together. As they passed through the halls, Emma noticed that things had changed. Students still watched her, but the fear in their eyes was mixed with something else now. Respect, curiosity, even admiration. A young Villari girl stopped her in the corridor. Is it true? She asked. What you said to the council. That humans would really fight for us? Emma nodded. We protect our friends, always. The girl smiled, her crystal face lighting up with rainbow colors. Then I would like to be your friend. If you will have me. Emma smiled back. I would like that very much. That evening, Emma sat by the window in her room, looking out at the stars. Kira sat beside her, and they were not alone anymore. Other students had come to join them, aliens from a dozen different worlds, all drawn by curiosity about the small human who had changed everything. They talked and laughed and shared stories about their homes. They ate strange foods and tried to understand each other's customs. They were different in so many ways, but they were also the same in the ways that mattered. And Emma Park, the girl from the Deathworld, the predator who had chosen to be a friend, looked around at all of them and felt something she had not felt since leaving Earth.